Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for joining me today for a special tribute episode to one of my favorite modern baseball cards, the Rainbow Foilboard Parallel, courtesy of Topps Stadium Club. Now I want to do three things in this episode. I want to give a quick background on this parallel, what it is, how long it's been around, how you find them, etc. I want to talk about the three reasons quickly why I love collecting it. And then we're going to finish the episode with a top 25 countdown featuring my favorite 25 rainbow foilboard cards from my collection. So let's start with a quick background, and I've done up some high quality graphics as I'm known to do here on the channel. But this is a parallel that exists in Topps Stadium Club. I'm sure most of you watching this are familiar with the Stadium Club brand. It started all the way back in 1991, more than 30 years ago now, as an actual club that you could join. My brothers and I were members, along with my father. You would get special exclusive cards in the mail, Stadium Club cards. You got other perks like a subscription to Topps magazine and Stadium Club keychain, all kinds of stuff. And it was basically Topps, their answer to Upper Deck and the other high-end brands that were emerging in the early 90s and challenging them in the hobby. And it's existed since then, but it has not existed uninterrupted. So you can see here, it existed every year from 1991 through 2003. Then there was no Stadium Club set for a few years. There was a one-off set in 2008. Then it went away again for a few years. And then in 2014, Topps revived the Stadium Club brand for an annual set, and it has existed every year since. And the 2023 release actually came out at the very beginning of this year. So it's had a 10-year run now since its revival. And it's that stretch that I want to focus on, because in 2014, when they brought the brand back, they introduced the Rainbow Foilboard Parallel. And here is a look at one from that inaugural, or that first remake of the set in 2014. They're just gorgeous cards. Really, really tough pulls. They are serial numbered to just 25 copies. And they have been ever since their inception here in 2014. Like this Tom Seaver card is copy 12 of 25, Christmas card. And then they exist all the way through that run to present day. And we have cards like this one, which is a Rod Carew from the 2023 release that just came out within the last year. And just like the Seaver and all the others, is serial numbered to 25. And they're obviously instantly recognizable. Aside from the serial numbering, they have this amazing glow when you get them in the right light. As you can see here with the Seaver and the Carew, pretty unmistakable if you come across one of these in your pack. Your odds of doing so are incredibly slim. They obviously vary throughout the years based on the amount of product that is printed up. But suffice it to say, pulling any card numbered to 25 or less out of a retail product or a hobby product is not easy. So that's a little bit of background. They've been around now for 10 years running. Now, the three reasons why I love collecting these, really easy. Number one, Stadium Club has the best images in modern baseball cards. I can't think of a set that even comes close to challenging it in terms of just interesting and fascinating image quality. And we're going to see that as we get through today's countdown. But the number two reason that I collect them, it combines that great photography with an element of scarcity. And I know it's artificial scarcity, blah, blah, blah. They only make 25 of these. I get it. But the reality is there are only 25 copies of each Stadium Club card that shine the way these do. And they're serial numbered. And I just love that scarcity element. I can go online right now and buy a copy of this Tom Seaver for 18 cents on Sport Lots, just the base card, have it at my door tomorrow. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with collecting that way. But I like a little bit more of a challenge. I like waiting for these cards. Stadium Club is not a brand that is really paralleled to death. So there aren't a lot of serial numbered Stadium Club parallels that exist out there compared to like a Topps Chrome or Topps Flagship. And as a result, these cards being numbered to 25 are the lowest numbered Stadium Club parallels outside of a 1-of-1. So I love that scarcity element combined with the amazing photography. Just two reasons why I really, really love these cards. And then the third and final reason is the longevity of the parallel. I mentioned it was introduced in 2014, and it exists all the way through present day, the 2023 release. So it's had a 10-year run of being the same parallel with the same amazing look and the same numbering year after year. And I think that consistency in an era of the hobby where Topps and Fanatics are introducing new parallels like weekly and with every set, I love the consistency and longevity of a parallel that's notable like this, that has been around for a full decade. So those are my 3 reasons I collect these. Now, without further ado, let's get into the countdown. I've rounded up my top 25 rainbow foil board parallels. So again, every one of these is going to be numbered to 25. They're going to be from all different years of the last 10 years of the Stadium Club release. I think I have every set represented here at least once, but I'll save the numbered to 25 comment because it'll just get repetitive. Just know that each and every one of these is serial numbered out of 25. So in the number 25 spot, card that I have shown before, many of these are going to be new to the channel. I've saved a lot of these for this countdown and never shown them. This particular Yogi Berra I did pull out of a cheese box when I was doing a rummage a while back. Picked this one up within the last year. This is from the most recent set in 2023. And the reason it makes the cut, I have no idea what is going on here. Like, my guess is he's been given like a recliner and TV set as part of like an award before a game or something. But if anyone knows anything about this image or any of these images, please let me know in the comments below. So there you go, number 25, Yogi Berra. Gonna try to keep the commentary to a minimum with 24 more to get through here. In the number 24 spot from the 2019 release, check out this Ichiro. Player that I've been trying to add to my collection of recently. I feel like I really kind of whiffed on him over my first, decade and a half back in the hobby. And before he gets enshrined, I'm trying to pick up a few more interesting Ichiro cards to kind of round out my small collection of his. So I will have a whole video coming up on that. But I love the kind of look of speed in this one. You can tell he's stealing a bag here, and it just really, really encapsulates the speed element of his game. This one would be higher up on the list, except that I have another Ichiro a little bit higher up that I like even better than this one that we're going to see in a few minutes. Moving on, in the number 23 spot, I've been collecting these for years now, but this is one that I just got this past summer, even though it's from the 2019 release. So it took me like 5 years to track one of these down as an example of the patience required here. The Al Kaline from 2019, love that image. And obviously this one is all about that amazing sky in the background. It's really cool the way that Topps does these, where the player on a lot of these does not have rainbow foil finish, only the background does, and the player is like a matte finish that kind of stands in contrast to the shiny background. Now, they didn't start that way. If you noticed, when I showed you the 2014 Seaver, in that first year of the release, even Tom Seaver himself is done up in rainbow foil here. You can really tell. But as the parallel has moved through the years, that's the one minor change that they've made, is going with that matte player over that rainbow background. So Al Kaline with that glorious background at number 23. Coming in at number 22, this is one also from this past year's set. Was really excited to see him included. I believe this is the first time that Satchel Paige received a rainbow foil board or a Stadium Club base card. Now, I would rank this one a little bit higher up, and you can see here in 2023, they did return to the whole image, including the player being rainbow foil. So I guess they've kind of alternated between the years. This one would be higher up than number 22 where I have it. It's just that I've seen this image used on various Page cards within the last few years. So I applaud Topps for including them in the set, but I do think the image selection is what caused this one to be a little bit further down the list. And we won't look at the back of all of these, but beautiful backs on the Stadium Club cards as well. So there you go, number 22, Satchel Paige. Here's another one that I have shown on the channel before in the number 21 slot. It's the 2016 Whitey Ford, but it was early days when I showed this on the channel, like maybe my first few videos or so. Obvious star of the show here is that great background. Love the stadium and even the city backdrop there. I don't know what stadium this is. Maybe somebody can identify it based on what's in view, but great card there of the chairman of the board, Whitey Ford. Look at how that shines. Just really, really cool. Again, I dig the amazing photography combined with the scarcity and the chase element on these cards. They're just absolute winners. Really tough to track down, but then sometimes when you find one, you can grab it. Even the best players, the biggest name players for $20, $30, and it's just so rewarding. So into the number 20 spot now, we have one from the inaugural release for this parallel, the 2014 set. Same as that Tom Seaver in the background. How about the Jackie Robinson? Great one here. This is a very famous and well-known image of Robinson signing for the fans. And much like the Ichiro, I would put this one higher up on the list, being a Jackie numbered to 25, not an easy card, but there is a Robinson card that I actually like better than this one that we're going to see further up the countdown. So this number, this 2014 falls in at number 20. At number 19 now, we have Pee Wee Reese. Of course, his most famous vintage card, I feel like, is his 53 Bowman Color, where he's infamously leaping through the air, turning two. And in this card, this is his 2019 Stadium Club Foilboard. He's doing a similar leap, obviously not turning two here, just kind of a fun staged photograph here. But I love the look of jubilance on his face. And again, these tend to work best when there's a lot of light in the background. Dark colors, it's a little bit more difficult to kind of see the shine come through on the card, but this is an ideal background, and you can really see how these cards just absolutely dance. So let's clean up this little pile we have going here, and maybe we'll put Pee Wee Reese out in the background as we continue on with the countdown here. Just really, really nice cards. That one even kind of shines Dodger blue in a certain light, which is amazing. Moving on now to number 18. This is another pretty new one I picked up this past summer from the 2023 release. How about this Johnny Bench? Look at that. I mean, that is pure intimidation. This is a man who has a lot of great looking cards, both vintage and modern. And this one I would put right alongside any of them. He has a couple of other Stadium Club Rainbow foil boards that I would love to track down, but just haven't been able to find them. And it just goes back to the extreme challenge that these cards represent. But Johnny Bench in at number 18. Next up at number 17, we have another one that I have shown before, but I think it's one of the best images that Topps has used recently. Also from the 2023 release, it's the Doc Gooden. And this is a very similar image to the one that was used on the box topper from, I think, Donruss back in the mid-'80s, which I do have a copy of. Didn't drag it out for the video, but love this card. Love this one so much that I bought it twice, and I had a copy that I sent in from ComC for grading. I got a PSA 8, but my buddy Dan over at Old Sarge Collects, not knowing that it was my card, hit me up. He had found it on eBay, and he was wondering what a good price might be on the card, and I told him, don't bother, I'm going to send you that. So that is in his collection now. Pulled it down from ComC and mailed it off to Dan, so epic Gooden card there, and not the last Mets card that we're going to see in the countdown as a teaser. That takes us up to number 16 now, and this is one that I really feel honored to own. One of my big collecting focuses in the past year has been former Negro League greats, and was thrilled to see that Topps included the great Josh Gibson on the checklist for the 2023 Stadium Club release. This is his first ever Stadium Club card, and to date his only Stadium Club card. We'll see if he's in the 2024 release. But yeah, honored to have one of the 25 copies that exist of the Josh Gibson Rainbow Foil Board. Now this one, the only reason this isn't higher up in the countdown, it's not the best image for this treatment. This year, this particular image, they don't have Josh himself done in Rainbow Foil Board, and he's a little bit dark, and it's actually coming across almost a little bit nicer on video even than it is in hand. Compared to a lot of the other ones that we're looking at today, this one just has a darker tone to it, which is the only reason that I didn't put it higher up in the list. Just aesthetically, I think there are others that best it here, but regardless, really, really honored to own one of the 25 copies of that. Takes us down now to number 15, and this is just a classic shot from the 2019 release of Hammerin' Hank. Check out this Hank Aaron. And I talk about this a lot when I show modern cards, but I love vintage as well, and I don't see why anyone has to choose between collecting one or the other. If you choose to, for budgetary reasons or focus reasons, I get it. But outside of that, I don't really think you need to choose. I love having this numbered to 25 Hank Aaron and being able to display it right alongside the few vintage cards that I have of his, and I think it gives me a really well-rounded collection of Hank, and we'll see him again further on down this countdown as well. But for now, in slot number 15, that is his 2019 release. Next up at number 14, I don't think I've shown this on the channel, but it's an amazing card. I did show it on Instagram, I think. I was able to snag this Teddy Ball Game, the Splendid Splinter. Look at this. Just love this image of him checking out this bat. I think that might be like a Silver Slugger bat or a Silver Slugger award that he's admiring. But again, I've said it before and I'll say it again in this countdown. Those images with the bright, sky behind the player really, really work well. And you can see, compared to like the Josh Gibson that we looked at a couple minutes ago, the photograph makes a big difference. The Gibson looks nice, but this Ted Williams absolutely dances. And they're from the same release. So the image just really makes a big difference with how these ranked in my countdown. But love this Ted Williams at number 14. Next up at number 13, we have another Jackie. And this is one that I have shown before, his 2023 release. I just love the odd photograph here. So Stadium Club, they have great portrait shots and classic action shots and things like that. But they're also not afraid to get into the kind of weird, offbeat, strange photographs. And this one here of Jackie, presumably accepting like a car as an award, just really, really spoke to me. Started searching for one of these as soon as the checklist dropped and was able to get one probably a couple months after the set's release at a price point that I was happy with. Again, I don't spend a lot of money on these. I prefer to be patient and hunt them down slowly and try to keep them to, $25 or under, which almost everything we've seen in this video, that is the case for. Next up at number 12, have the 2022 Ozzie Smith doing his patented backflip here in the Astrodome. You can see the Astros logo on the outfield wall there, and just, the action that is copied on or portrayed on this card is just incredible. This is how, probably more than any other card in my collection, this represents how I remember Ozzie Smith. Him doing his acrobatics through the infield, it just absolutely amazed and enamored me as a kid baseball fan. And so having that one in the collection is priceless. And that was like a $5 pickup, believe it or not. All right, we're down to number 11 now. This one just missed making the top 10. And you could, on a different day, you could switch these around in almost any order. They're all fantastic. But check out this 2023 Tom Terrific, Tom Seaver, outstretched. Just an incredible photograph. The perspective on this is insane. I had tracked down a base version of this right when the set came out, just because I love the image. And it took me quite a few months before one of these rainbow foil boards went up at auction, and I was able to secure one of the 25 copies out there. But that is among my favorite Tom Seaver cards, hands down. I don't care that it's artificially scarce and that it came out just this past year. That is a winner in my book, and I'm honored to own that one. Look at the way that card catches the light. These are just so, so cool. And now we move into the top 10. So these are all going to be really nice images from here on out. And we start at number 10 with a Willie Mays. Now this one's got, I think, some marks on the case that are doing it a disservice. But this is an example of something that you should know about these if you're not a modern collector. But at some point, cards that are numbered low enough and scarce enough, the condition doesn't matter. Or it certainly matters a lot less than it would on a readily available card. And so the reason I mentioned that, I got this Willie Mays at a huge discount because the seller mentioned that it was not perfect, quote unquote, or was unlikely to grade a PSA 10. And that's music to my ears because, number one, I'm not grading these. I do have one graded that we're going to see in a minute that I bought that way, but I don't plan on grading these. I love them just the way they are. And number two, I've collected them enough to know that condition is a huge problem with these. As you would imagine, this silver foil that they use on this is extremely sensitive to chips and things like that. And I don't know if you can make it out, but right here on the right border of the card, just above where the magnet is, there's a little chip in the card. And because of that, this seller, was kind of going out of his way to talk about how poor the condition is on this, and was kind of talking down his own card. And I was able to get him down to below $25 for this. And I have not seen another of these to date, and the condition really doesn't bother me. Again, numbered to 25 is numbered to 25. So there are only that number of them in the whole world. So if one has a little tiny chip in it and you're interested, I would not let that scare you away in the least. You have to apply, in my opinion, a different sensitivity to condition to these than you would your average modern baseball card. So number 10, Willie Mays. Number 9 now, we have the other Hank Aaron that I promised. And this one is a great image from the inaugural 2014 reboot set. First year that they made these. Look at this Hammer and Hank. Got the giant scoreboard in the background, crossing home plate and celebrating probably just after having crushed one of his home runs. And just love, love, love this card. Can't believe I'm over 20 minutes, so I'm going to pick up the speed here. At number 8, this one I've shown before, but it's been a while. Roger Maris, look at that image. Of course, known as being a slugger of home runs above anything else. And here we have just his giant bat protruding into the foreground. I just really, really dig this one. I think a hobby buddy of mine here on YouTube has one of the other 24 copies of this one. So great Roger Maris there at number 8. Coming in at number 7, I have not shown this one yet. And it's one of my favorite images on any of these. Look at this Ichiro. I picked this up this past summer. As I mentioned, I have a video coming on this, but I've been trying to focus on rounding out my Ichiro collection a little bit better before he gets into the Hall of Fame. Kind of ignored him to my own peril for many years, but this one spoke to me. This is a shot taken at Safeco Field where the Mariners play, and at least that's what it was called at the time, I think. You can see the Safeco insurance ad back there. And the reason this one spoke to me, that is Ichiro right there. That batting stance, that image is perfect. And then beyond that, he is playing against my beloved Boston Red Sox. And he has fellow Japanese star Daisuke Matsuzaka on the mound here and longtime team captain Jason Varitek behind the plate. So I love the Red Sox tie-in. I love the dual Japanese player tie-in with Matsuzaka and Ichiro. And I love that classic batting pose from Ichiro. Not one of his most valuable cards or anything, but I don't know. I think these have sneaky potential. Like, if I'm an Ichiro collector, I absolutely want to own this card. Just fantastic, fantastic stuff. So that is number 7. Let's get into number 6, which is going to be the only graded card in today's video. As I mentioned, I don't plan on grading these myself, but recently one surfaced PSA graded that I had been trying to get for about 2.5, 3 years now. From the 2020 release, look at this Sandy Koufax. Koufax at bat. I mean, that's not something that you see every day. We'll happily pair this with my Koufax rookie here in my collection. Just an example of Stadium Club imagery at its best. As I mentioned, one of the 3 reasons I go after these is these cards have the best images in modern baseball cards, period. And I think this Sandy absolutely supports that. That was a brand new pickup only maybe about a week or 2 ago now. Just got that one in time to make the countdown. At number 5, this is not a player that's as good as some of the ones we've looked at, but he's a Hall of Famer nonetheless, and it's all about the image in this one. This is the 2015 Dennis Eckersley. This is one of the first ones of these I ever bought. Actually bought it all the way back in 2015. I just love the image with that giant caricature that races around the infield between innings. Just a killer Dennis Eckersley. And of course, you have Eck himself standing next to his own oversized bobblehead caricature. And these cards, I am a sucker for those types of cards. A little bit gimmicky, I get it, but this one definitely spoke to me, and maybe my favorite Dennis Eckersley card in my entire collection, for what it's worth. Number 4, we have now the other Jackie Robinson, and you can see why I put this one higher up the list. Essentially, it's the same image as the 2014 that we looked at earlier in the countdown, which I have handy here. But in 2019, we get it in the horizontal layout or landscape. And actually, now that I look at them side by side, these were actually taken minutes apart. So clearly the same dugout with the same people in it, the same fans, but you can tell these were taken seconds or minutes apart. But I think the horizontally oriented 2019 here just works better out of the 2. And this is one of my favorite Jackie Robinson cards in my entire collection. Again, a lot of Jackie collectors out there, so not easy, even with modern, to get a Jackie card numbered to 25 is a tall order. So I'm happy to have that one. And let's see if I can get through the final 3 here as I'm starting to lose my voice. At number 3, another pickup from just this past summer, the 2019 Warren Spawn. And this is one of the ultimate leg kicks ever captured on cardboard. Really speaks for itself. Possibly the best left-handed pitcher in history, certainly in the top 3 anyway. And it's all about the image for this one for me. This could have been anybody, a non-Hall of Famer, but if it was this image, I would want to go after it. But the fact that it's one of the best southpaws ever to hurl the baseball just gives it that much more in terms of cool factor and bonus points. So this one made it all the way up to number 3 in my countdown. And then what are the 2 cards that beat out that Warren Spawn? At number 2, this is the one that I looked for longer than any other. It's a 2015 card, and I had a saved search for years trying to find one of the 25 copies of this, and I only landed it within the last calendar year. So it took me, almost 10 years of searching to finally get the Fernando Valenzuela. Now, this image is a little bit dark, so it doesn't work as well. You can see the right side of the card, rainbow foil really, really works great. Left side, not quite as much, but as far as images in Stadium Club, this is one of my favorite that I have ever seen. It perfectly encapsulates to me Fernando mania that occurred in the 80s, and really, really honored to have this. And these are in demand. When I added this to my collection on the trading card database, I was contacted almost immediately by a couple of different collectors wondering if I would be willing to sell this card because they, like me, had been trying to find one for years. So I was able to snatch that up really, really quick when it hit the internet within the last year or so. So Fernando Valenzuela up at number 2. Then we finish in the number 1 spot with one of the best players ever to play the game, the Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig, from the 2014 set, and chose this one as the number 1 overall for obvious reasons because of that amazing, amazing image with his teammate and arguably 2 of the best ever to play the game, Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. Just love this image. Props to Topps for including things that you don't see every day like this in the Stadium Club release. So that's going to be the number 1 card in my countdown, and that is actually going to conclude my countdown of my top 25 rainbow foilboard parallels numbered to 25. Really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you weren't aware of these, hopefully you learned a thing or two, and would highly encourage you to go out there and try to find one of these of a player or a team that you collect. They're not easy to find. They don't pop up often, but they're not necessarily expensive either. So patience is the key with these, but in any event, this was a way longer video than I planned on. So if you made it all the way through almost 30 minutes, I certainly appreciate it. I'll be back soon here with some more content. And in the meantime, keep enjoying the hobby. Take care.